Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is October 4th, and that means day 277 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we continue printing out really cool stuff for Halloween with this very cool Goth-Tower candle holder, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 277 of the 3DP 365 project. We're still printing out really cool stuff for Halloween, and today we printed out this very cool Goth-Tower candle holder. And our print turned out pretty good. We did have some issues getting this thing to print. I'm sure you saw it on social media yesterday. I created a huge bowl of pasta, and the print really didn't get that far. Here's the actual remnants of what actually printed, and here's the little piece. And you can see that it started to have extrusion issues. And of course, this is happening a lot. I'm having all kinds of problems with my retraction settings, and I really need to tune them. So just for kicks, I loaded up some Make Shaper blue filament just with the same G-code file, just to see if it really was retraction. I wanted to narrow down my problems with the print. As usual, you gotta eliminate all factors. And there's nothing I like more than spending hours diagnosing problems on my 3D printer. So I loaded up some of that Make Shaper filament. This is their blue color, and it had the exact same problem. There was retraction problems starting, and you could see that under extrusion was happening from the drive gear, the feed gear, grinding into the filament and causing it not to push down into the hot end. And that is the problem. I have a really good feed gear system. It's a spring-loaded system on the gMax 1.5 XT Plus, and it puts a lot of tension, not a ton of tension, but enough tension on there to grab the filament and push it into that feeder gear. And what's happening is with the retraction, it's causing it to kind of dig into the filament enough where it almost creates like a little bit of a notch, and then the extruder can't feed any more filament because it's not going down. Sometimes if the filament is really thick and hard, which is the same with the orange filament and the white filament in the Pro Series from Matter Hackers, it's a little denser than the other filament that I've used in the same Pro Series line. It seems to cause a problem where it almost doesn't want to feed whatsoever. And if I load up some of the silver, which is a little bit softer, I won't have as many problems. I will have some retraction issues, just not as many. So the density between the orange and the white filament is similar, but it's different from some of the other colors. And that happens because they're sourcing materials from multiple manufacturers to give us the best filament possible. So they may not be made by all the same company, which is perfectly acceptable. It's their Pro Series. They're giving us the best filament. But the issue is with the orange and the white filament that the density just seems to be a little bit higher than what the other colors are, like the softer colors too. So like the red prints no problem. The silver prints great. The gray, the jet gray, I don't have any problems with that. But the orange and the white filaments seem to be consistently, it has the same texture, same feel, and when I do the bend test with the filament, it snaps. It doesn't really bend and then tear like a piece of green wood. It actually just kind of snaps in a lot of places, and when I cut it with the snips, it cuts like wire. So it's just a little bit more dense, so I may have to tune my settings when I'm using orange and white filament. But back to the Goth-Tower candle holder. After having all these retraction issues, I decided, the heck with it. I'm turning off all retraction, and I know that's going to cause a lot of stringing and a lot of problems, but I wanted to see what would happen. The only setting I have is the coast nozzle, which is at 2 millimeters, and the retraction travel distance I have Simplify 3D opened off camera. Retraction travel distance at 3 millimeters from a suggestion from one of my subscribers. So that's the only, everything else is off. The Z-lift, the retraction speed, the amount, everything has been turned off. And it actually printed. But it did print with some caveats. There is a ton of stringing, and you can see it here on the top of the candle holder. I mean, a ton of stringing, and it's very thick stringing. It's not very wispy, so it's going to require almost an X-Acto knife to remove. And I did notice that in some areas, I got a few little retraction, well, not retraction because it's not on, but spikes from the extruder leaving an area and just leaving filament because it's not retracting it back in. And also, full disclosure, I do this a lot, I opened up the bottom of it on the first layer with my part removal tool, so I separated the bottom layers from the rest of the model in one little area. But that's what super glue is for, like my wife says. The only other real problem is where the seam is. And let me see if I can find the skull that got affected by the seam. It's this one right here. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but that skull got pretty beat up from the seam location, because I have my seam location set at 300 by 350 millimeters on the X and Y, so it locates it in the back of the print. So that kind of affected it, and I should have just put it on random, that way it wouldn't have been a problem. But the print itself, besides those issues that we've just talked about, the stringing, a little bit of spiking, and the seam, the rest of the print looks amazing. It looks just like the pumpkin. It has that really great smooth matte finish on it. You can barely see the layer lines in some areas, and this was done at a 0.2 millimeter layer height. I did not print this at a fine layer height. And I did 4 top layers, 3 bottom layers, 3 perimeters, and I used 15% infill, and I did print this out at 35 millimeters per second. But the print itself, it actually looks amazing. I mean, that turned out perfect. Now I'm just gonna hit this with some primer coat, a primer filler, and then probably paint it black. And then my wife suggested that maybe we'd take some silver and give it a little bit of authentic old look, because it is a candlestick holder. So this will look really cool. And I do wanna print another one. So here's my call to you guys, my subscribers. What should I do with my retraction settings? I'll put a screen grab up of Simplify 3D at the end of the video. You guys look over. Actually, you know what? I'll record a little bit of video where I go through each of the settings. That'll be better. And I want you guys to give me some suggestions on my retraction settings. Now I know this is a gMax printer. It has a direct drive system. It's not Bowden. So there are a lot of differences between your printer and my printer, but I'm looking for suggestions either way. So let me know what you guys think I should do to get my retraction settings back dialed in. Because I do kind of want to use retraction. That's a whole lot of stringing to clean up. And I can imagine if I had printed multiple parts on the build plate, there would be stringing everywhere and this would be a nightmare. And I don't think it's a really good idea to not use retraction. It just has to be tuned. But for now, after you guys give me some suggestions, that's what I'll do is I'll print another one of these so we have a comparison between the two. And if I have, hopefully I still have some orange filament left. If not, I'll get some more from Matter Hackers. That way we use the same filament too. And I'll reprint that at a later date or sometime during the month. But for now, I'm happy with the candlestick holder. I'm really glad it finally printed because this is an amazing model. And I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can download and print this yourself. But it turned out awesome. I'm super happy with it. It's a perfect addition to like a tablescape or just decorations in general for Halloween, because it really does have that really cool, creepy feel to it. Well, that about wraps it up for day 277 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, check out the affiliate links down in the description. If you make a purchase through Matter Hackers, Amazon, or GearBest, it'll kick a little bit back to the channel. It won't cost you a penny, and I really appreciate it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more awesome Halloween prints.